The Technology Trilogy is one of the most well-known and famous series of levels in Geometry Dash, and while it is a controversial and polarizing series, they are all pretty good mega collabs of relatively high standard. In this video, I'll be ranking them from worst to best, giving my opinions on them and what they could do to be a lot better. This is mainly based on the decoration for the time, how well the parts fit, the quality of the level as a whole, and how well it stands the test of time. I will not be talking about gameplay that much because, well, I'm really bad and have no hope of getting any significant runs in these levels. If I do have any educated opinions on the gameplay, I will talk about it though, and I'll also put into account the general consensus with the different parts of each level. With all that done, let's begin the ranking with number 3, Digital Descent. I'm actually surprised that I put this at number 3 because when I first started making this video, there was a different level I had at 3rd. The more I thought about it, however, I realized that this isn't that amazing of a mega collab. The best part is the song, although that might be my Creo bias showing, and a lot of the parts are just very mediocre. For example, look at Kermal's part. This was clearly rushed, and while it isn't necessarily bad, it doesn't fit any of the other parts of the level, nor does it fit the theme in any way, nor is it up to the high standard of the other parts. Mannix's part actually looks horrendous. I have no idea what he was thinking when he went for this color combo, and even Devon and Etz's parts look subpar. Speaking of Devon and Etza, these two parts are renowned for being one of the biggest difficulty spikes in any list demon, and while I can't really comment on it because I'm nowhere near good enough, when playing in practice mode, yeah, these two parts are significantly harder from everything else in the level. Going back to the decoration, there are not that many parts that actually stand the test of time at all. The only ones that still impress me now are the first couple parts and Mannix's. Overall, I would consider this level to be a bit of a flop because the consistency of the parts quality and the gameplay being very bad in many cases. Digital Descent is a prime example of how mega collabs can flop when not hosted in a good way. I would also like to say that the last part is really random and really ugly. I'm surprised no one talks about it, because it's a terrible way to finish the level, in my opinion. The end screen does look cool though. Number 2, Artificial Ascent. This was gonna be last, but then I realized how bad Digital Descent is, and I realized how well the theme is executed for 2.0 standards. Also, the history of this level is just really cool, like how it was gonna be a Cataclysm remake, and then it ended up having one original prototype, but then Anubis lost all his progress. It's just a really cool history, and I do recommend that you watch Anubis's video on it, because it's just fascinating. Michigan and Etz's parts are really cool to look at, especially Etz's. In fact, you could probably make a level nowadays using that type of decoration and get it rated. Etz's part in particular actually has really fun gameplay, although Michigan's is really unfun, unfortunately. There are a few bad parts though. Viprin's is just really generic and ugly, and there are a couple others that are just really forgettable. The gameplay looks like absolute arse at times, but it's also pretty fun, especially at the end of the level. After Abstract Dark, it's pretty fun in my opinion when playing it in practice mode, but that is just me. Speaking of Abstract Dark, his part is pretty bad considering his standards, both gameplay and decoration wise. There are a lot of parts that are just a bit lower in quality, like Xanthic Alphas, because the creators couldn't really figure out how to use the 2.0 editor and fit into the theme. But it is one of the best 2.0 levels ever made, and honestly, it deserves the recognition it got. The song is also an absolute banger. Surface is so good. It's easily Dimbrain's best song. I don't know if this is controversial, but At the Speed of Light is very mid. It might just me being sick of it after all of the hell levels using the song, but in my opinion, it's not the best. It's still a decent song, but Surface is amazing, and it's still on my playlist after all these years. Number 1, Cybernetic Crescent. This level has amazing decoration, and the line of participants is stellar. And in my opinion, they didn't disappoint. In a lot of other people's opinions, they did, but to me they didn't. Samifying and Sapunja's part aren't the best themed, but if you take them and put them in isolation, they are really cool parts to look at. I just think I would have asked them to do something a bit different and something that fit more into the theme. I've got a few issues with this level, and it's definitely not perfect, but it's definitely the best out of the three, and the decoration is so much better than people give it credit for. I've seen people trashing on Funky's part and Nascub's part. I don't see how. Those two parts are so aesthetically pleasing. Even Vibrant's part is good, and considering his last two parts in Digital Descent and Artificial Ascent, they were pretty mid. So this is a huge improvement. I really like how Vibrant's part looks. The gameplay has been said to be pretty unbalanced, especially in Vibrant's part, and I can't really speak for that, but it is really aesthetically pleasing. Like, the drop is really cool to look at, like all the different ways the icon moves around. I don't know how to explain it really. It's just so fun to look at. The end of the level is a bit of a letdown. Heinz's part could have been so much better if he moved the blocks a bit, if he added background deco, if he got rid of these stupid blind timings, which I'm honestly really surprised he put in, then it could have been one of the best parts of the level. As it stands, it's incredibly mediocre and one of the lower parts, even if it still fits with the theme. And Terron's part, if it just had a different color scheme, would have been one of the best as well. I don't know what they were doing with these colors, but this is the part we ended up with. The end screen is really cool as well. In my opinion, most of the parts, even the parts I haven't talked about, fit with the style well. Like Rustum's is overhated, Shoxidian's part is overhated. They're all really good parts in a really solid level. Never Make It is such a perfect song for this level. It's the most digital-y song out of the three levels and fits so well with the theme. I've seen people complain about how it's not as intense or fast-paced as the other two songs, and while yeah, I agree, it isn't. That's not a bad thing. These are meant to be fast-paced levels, but you could still do it with this song, and it just fits the theme so well. It creates such a good atmosphere, especially in Cody's part at the very start. It's just an amazing song, and it just fits so well. This might be my bias showing though. The drop is perfect as well. Overall, it's so overhated, and it's one of the best list demons in the game right now, and that's pretty high praise coming from a guy who hates the list demon and hates decoration standards. That was my ranking. I'll probably do videos like this in the future. I'm testing out Premiere Pro and how I deliver videos, so hopefully my videos will only get higher in quality as time goes on. Join my Discord server if you want to lose a couple brain cells. It's fun, but as I said, you'll lose a couple brain cells, and that is the end of the video. Goodbye.